Welcome, researchers, to the Arcanic Archives. I am, of course, the Archivist, and today our video is a little bittersweet because, as this foreboding exclamation mark tells us, Kano has hit Living Legend in Blitz. He has attained the 500-point threshold this skirmish season, and unfortunately the first skirmish that I would have been able to play is December 2nd. So I need to decide fast if I want to play Arachne or the Emperor. So might make another video about whichever one of those that I end up going with. But for today, we are sending Kano out in a blazing aether of glory by seeing how much straight-up arcane damage we can deal in Blitz. For our final Kano in Blitz video, we'll be going with what I consider the straight-ahead optimized. We are here to deal arcane damage and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum sort of thing. So, those of you familiar with how Kano plays in Blitz, you won't see anything new here. We have our standard equipment set up, our trusty Crucible of Aetherweave, Ragamuffin's Hat, Metacarpus Node, Spellfire Cloak, and Stormstriders, and our other equipment down here in the inventory is Alluvian Constellus and Waning Moon for the Wizard Mirrors, and then also Frontline Gauntlets because I'm tired of getting killed by Rhinar on their first turn. So this is a silly little hedge against that. If you've not seen this before, it was printed in Dusk Till Dawn, and there's one in each equipment slot, but it's only really relevant in the matchups where your opponent is going first, and they think they can push a lot of damage early on, such as Rhinar, Bravo, Azalea, that sort of thing. So, since Kano is so squishy, I think it's worth having the Frontline Gauntlets to play as an alternative to Metacarpus Nodes, only in those matchups, and only when your opponent is on the play. Otherwise, again, this is just, straight up arcane damage. We'll see if Mind Warp actually does something, if we can finally get the surge effect to happen. Probably not, but it's fun to dream, isn't it? And then we have our trusty Sonic Booms, Chain Lightning, and Lesson in Lava as the rest of our yellows, and then we have the full complement of 20 blues. Nothing really notable here. I always say Kano needs to eat his vegetables and play a critical mass of 0 for 1 blues, mostly to pitch, but also there's certain situations like off an Aether Flare, for example, where you just need to play something else to get an extra damage, and those zero-cost spells can do a little more work. Also in the sideboard, or our inventory, we have 2 Nourishing Emptiness, mostly as poppers for the Illusionist matchup. Swell Tidings is good for Guardian matchups, Shadow matchups where they have a lot of Arcane Barrier and, the Of Darkness set, or the Radiant set for the Light Heroes even. Just a lot of onboard damage prevention and Spell Void. You want to be able to go tall. So 1 Swell Tidings to do that, and then Warmongers, just because it's a good card, and is good against a lot of decks, particularly Rune Blades, but also Rangers and the like. So anyways, that is our brief pure Arcano deck tech, and we'll get into some games, see how many double-digit damage combos we can pull off to send out Kano with a bang, and I'll be back in a little while for the wrap-up. Alright, so we're celebrating the ascension of Kano to Living Legend with one last run with a pure arcane, no-nonsense Kano deck in Blitz. So we're up against Lexi, which honestly I haven't seen a whole lot of in Blitz. So, what do we do? Sideboard-wise, possibly nothing. Yeah, we're going to say nothing. So we'll just run our standard setup. Alright, so we have a pretty garbage hand, not having any blues. However, they have Arcane Barrier 1. And that's it. So, I love punishing Arcane Barrier 1 with things like Aether Spindle and Sonic Boom. Let's do the boom. Let's have some fun. We're not going to Crucible here just because we're a bit pinched. I'm going to Voltaire at instant speed. And a double Voltaire. If this and Luminoris could just be erased from existence, I'd be very happy. Oh my god, a fuse card in the deck that's supposed to do fusing? That's amazing. It's not just all degenerate outsider shenanigans. Or maybe a little bit. Well, this isn't even outsiders, actually. That's an older card. It's going to gain +2. Alright, so we will boom for 3. Alright, so they take all 3. We get a Scalding Rain. Yeah, being pinched on resources is a little unfortunate. So this is free. So we're going to actually Crucible here. And then fire that for now 3 Arcane. Chip in some more damage. And we can save an Aether Flare and Arsenal. Which is not bad to do Storm Strider shenanigans with. It's just honestly better to hit off the top of the deck. Alright, so we'll see what shenanigans they're up to. Problem is, since you just never see these fuse cards, I have no idea what any of them do. So this one is essentially... Let's go again. Ooh, okay, so they're up here, 3 of a kind. I mean, it's not impossible that we could blow them up. Actually, I wonder, is it possible to do like... Oh, we're probably too light on resource to do like this, Lesson, and then... just find Blazing Aether, like, here's 14. Because we would have to... Like, Striders this out, and then... Yeah, Striders out the Flare, and then Ragamuffin Trick the Lesson to the top of the deck, and I think we're just a bit light on resource for actually doing that. So this, I think, will just take... We can throw our cards in front of something that has an actual on-hit if we're scared. I don't know, we'll see how much they're able to get up to, considering they had... I don't know, what, this is like a 7-card hand, essentially? Because it just depends on how many go-again arrows. They could also do some Perch Grapplers. Yeesh. Okay, so they have another Dazzling Crescendo. They do have the Heaven's Claws as before. This is 5 from Voltaire. And I think we'll just take it. Our turn, we could like save a blue and Lesson. And then we'll have this in Arsenal for our combo next turn. I'm curious how much more damage they can push. So they Voltaired just once? Or twice? Normally this has... I think they can do this one more time. Yeah, I was suspecting that they would do this, just since they can't play any of those cards from hand. But yes, please pitch away. Okay, so this... Okay, so they still have the Red Heaven's Claws. Diffuse with that. Okay. So this is going to be for 4 only, with Go Again. Okay. So we can just take this. So then they can Frazzle, fuse with the Heaven's Claws. So this will just be 5. Or no, this is 6. Oh, from a Voltaire buff, I guess? Okay. So this is actually a little awkward, because Now we would have to block with our 2 blues. We could just send this next turn, or send this on our turn, grab Blazing. It's probably what we'll do, actually. It's a wee bit awkward, but yeah, we know their last card is Heaven's Claws, which they can't do anything with. Yeah, so we will just block here and here. Because if we take 1 from this, it's actually 2, and then we die. Okay, so that was a pretty good turn for them, I think. We blocked 6 and took 13, so they presented 19 damage. It's pretty good. So now we'll just do this. Outside of Oasis, they're not going to be able to block all of it. They're very enthusiastic about activating Voltaire, that's for sure. Yeah, so with Kano now hitting Living Legend, it's Tuesday where I am now, so I'll get 1 more Armory in person with Kano and Blitz, but I won't actually get to play him in any skirmish. So I'm wondering if I should try Emperor or go back to like Arachne Solitary Confinement. In other news, Assassin news I should say, I'm super hyped for the new Arachne specialization coming in Heavy Hitters. That's going to give Arachne Huntsman and Contract Arachne quite a bit more flexibility. So they do Voltaire twice. I think they learned a lesson about New Horizon just then. Hope they don't have Oasis here. Okay, they don't. So we probably just get Blazing, right? Because then we can activate Kano, use Striders to play out our Aether Flare. Like if we Kano into a cheap spell, that should be able to push enough damage. So we are going to just grab Blazing here, because they're at 12, which, okay, this is not a stellar draw, actually. It's a little frightening. Okay, so they flip up a Lightning card, so the next attack gains go again. I'm just a little nervous that, you know, we only have 6 resources, so this is 1, 2, 3. Maybe we can make it 4 using Spellfire, and then Blazing would deal 8, so that only works if they have, like, exactly no Arcane Barrier, which, I mean, they have the second 3 of a kind, which is pretty bad. So, let's think for a moment. We can activate Kano with this blue and see what we find. We would love to find a 0-cost blue that we could just cash in with, or use to get a bunch of Aether Flare damage. So I sort of think that's probably our best option, right? I mean, if we hit, like, an Emeritus Scolding, that is pretty bad. We would just have to rely on, like, flipping a blue off Rags. Yeah. Let's do that. Energy Potion, that's pretty bad in this circumstance, actually. Because that's essentially down 1 resource. So now now we're essentially net 0 resource. We had 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 2. No, we're down. Yeah, we're down 1 resource, which means that we could do Aether Flare with a Crucible buff for 4. Say they block 1, and then we Blazing, that is 3 plus 3 is 6, and then they're still at 3. I don't want to let them draw 3 cards, because now we're probably going to have to block a lot. Sheesh. We'll see if this works. Not optimistic. This is Flare for 5. What is your last card? Ooh, it's a red. But now this will be 4, 8. We can make it 9. Nice. So by the skin of our teeth, yeesh, we got there. All right, that was a little strange. Oh man, and not knowing exactly what they're up to, since Lexi can kind of be built all over the place, made that a little more difficult. But that was pretty funny. Okay. I should actually have frontline gauntlets in this deck, just for you know, brute shenanigans. We don't really need any sideboard stuff, so let's just... Alright, so this is kind of nice. They have Arcane Barrier 2, because now we can Kano for basically free. And fine, Blazing Aether. Yeesh. Alright, we will banish it. So now instead of playing Energy Potion, we're going to try to chip in some extra damage via Lesson. Because now we can do Lesson into like Aether Quickening and then Blazing Aether. Not going to deal a whole lot of damage, but, you know, given that, you know, we don't really want to see Blazing Aether as our first banish when we sort of, you know, go for it for free on our turn. But that is currently the world we're living in. So they're sort of just free to Arcane Barrier liberally in this case. But the fact that they pitched 2 reds. So we'll say yes. So if we grab Aether Flare, that's only dealing 1 damage. We could get Aether Quickening to just try to maximize our Blazing. Yeah, that represents more damage with Blazing Aether, so that's what we're going to do. Because even if they block 2 of it, it means we're dealing a total of 6 damage this turn. Which is pretty great for a turn 0. So you got 2 more reds. What do you have over there? A veritable buffet of savage feasts. Ha ha ha. Okay, so they had it ready to roll. Alright, so then we can blazing for 4. Which they can probably block it. Well, if they give us their last card, they can block 2 of. Which they do, yeah. I mean, then, hey, that's pretty good. Like I said, 6 damage is 6 damage. And now we don't have to worry about Massacre or Ready to Roll, statistically speaking. Do that. And 4 blues. That's a lot of Kanoing, but not a lot of damage. Damage potential, I should say. We don't have an arsenal, which is a little sad, but, I mean, hey, 12 resource. Let's see if they can cobble together a 15 damage turn if we're just able to Kano liberally. Or maybe they do nothing at all. Okay, so they do the pack hunt. I say we don't Kano now. Okay, so they roll a 2. Are they going to Gambler's Gloves? Oh, they do, and they get the 6. Good for them. Okay, so now we need to... I mean, blocking 9 is probably correct, right? Unfortunately, we don't get to have much of a turn. We can activate Kano. Energy Potion. Doesn't do anything for us right now. Alright, so we essentially had to take a turn off, but now they're down Gambler's Gloves, so they have to live with whatever they roll from here on out. Speaking of, okay, almost got lucky and they didn't get to do anything. Does this mean they've rolled 2 2s? The virtual die is weighted to 2. Alright, so they do a barraging. We would love to hold on to Spindle in a blue. Apparently not. Would have just been happy blocking with that. But also, Chain Lightning is a okay card to put in Arsenal, so you can have some really silly combo turns that way. Oh heavens, it's swing big. Okay, we would love for you to roll low here. Okay, that's swing big for 19. We can shave some damage off. Okay, so now we're taking 10, and we die to Pummel. Which I don't know if Kayo plays Pummel frequently. So this would still let us Spindle on our turn, which honestly, we need that little bit of edge. Do you have a Pummel? Okay, you don't. That's fine. Unfortunately, we can't Crucible this, but they can only block 2. So we'll set them to 11, probably, and opt 2, which is never bad. We need all the help we can get here. Okay, we want neither of these, probably. There's a case for keeping Red Flare, but I think I'd rather just Kano into something better. Oh, this isn't good at all. Oh no. Just not enough resource to do anything good. And we have a non-block, which is our... No, we pitched one earlier, so... Okay. We would love a roll of 1. Oh, heavens. So everything is coming up in their favor. So we're probably just dead here. Unless they roll several threes on their attacks. Or several less than 5 or 6. Oh, and they have a barraging? Fabulous. So, I believe we're dead unless they intimidate the energy potion. But that is somewhat unlikely. Well, 25% chance. So, could have been an argument for trying to combo in response to the Barkbone activation. So it's really unlikely that we get to combo or to do anything meaningful. Let's see what happens. Okay, so they intimidate Lesson in Lava. So at the very least, they could Claw, you know, just another card. So I actually think, well, we'll wait and see, but I'm pretty sure. So they activate the Skullhorn, which is awesome, because now they have no Arcane Barrier, because that's their only source of Arcane Barrier, but I don't think we can do anything like... We could, like, Sonic Boom... What am I even hoping to hit with the Sonic Boom? Well, we might as well try, right? Like... I mean, like, we can Crucible the Boom... I don't know, if we hit Emeritus Scolding and then flip a blue off Rags, then we get it. Right? There's always a chance. It's a Potion of Deja Vu. Yeah, it is that kind of game. Alright. Nothing to be done there. We're gonna go first. See if they're a greedy Dorinthea with no Arcane Barrier. Could bring in a Nourishing Emptiness on the play. Or they could be responsible and have like 3 Arcane Barrier and Courage. No, they have 3 Arcane Barrier and Bolters. Alright, so we get 4 blues, which is a little awkward. Just because we'd rather, like, you know, Aether Spindle or something. Alright, so we get Scalding Rain. We can just Kano again and again. Banish Aether Flare. Okay, that's actually better. So now we Crucible. We'll still be able to play out the Energy Potion. Red Aether Flare is, like, one of the best cards to Kano. So I bet... I mean, as far as chipping in damage and setting up goes, this is pretty okay. So they'll take 1, and then... I mean, if they have blues, yeah. Right, so now we just get to present 3, which they can probably just cover up with another blue. It's not ideal, but... rather just have, like, in a hand like that, a Sonic Boom, honestly. You know, every hand is better with Sonic Boom, isn't it? Oh, they have 3 more reds. Interesting. Well, that almost was fun, but, alas, if that blue was, like, another red, think how much fun we would have had. Alright, again, not another excellent hand as far as being able to chip in goes. We'll see if they lead off with some non-attacks or bank on some reactions. Okay. So there's a Sharpened Steel. Excuse me. Alright, do we just block 9 and Arsenal Chain Lightning? I think that's what we're going to do. Do you have 2 reactions? Or we just get blown out by Overpower? You never know. Okay, great. We're happy with this. Well, I mean, happy being a relative. So now we just have a bunch of reds. But... Ooh, Iron Determination can be scary. So now do we do something like... we'd have to... It'd be kind of hard to Ragamuffin Trick this as our first card for the turn. Not impossible. Actually, we'd have to, like, Crucible. Yeah, it's not going to work, is it? But if we Striders this out... Okay. So congratulations, you have go again on your first attack. Okay, so is it possible to die right here? So bare minimum, they're attacking for 4 dominate. This is until end of turn. Yeah. So bare minimum, they're attacking with for 4 dominate, but they almost certainly have something else. If they have like 2 reactions, then we're dead. We're gonna take this attack. If we had like 1 more blue, like if this was a blue, we could possibly do some fun things. But we'd have to like Kano and then staff. They don't need to break bolters. Yeah, like if we wanted to ragamuffin trick the like if we could do flare, chain lightning, blazing, that's great. But they're also there at 19. What could get us like red overpower if we just don't block? Red overpower could get us. Okay, so we just take 4. Question is, do we try to do anything? Because we could just play the tome on our turn. Yeah, this is a little odd. So we're just going to double draw here. Now we Kano for fun and profit. Aether Quickening is not bad. I think we do soup it up just with the Sonic Boom. You always have the option of breaking Striders to Chain Lightning, Blazing Aether. We could actually do something really funny if we like... So play the Chain Lightning and then Ragamuffin Trick... Okay, so they took 2. So it's probably not worth doing that, right? Almost certainly not. So let's Kano here again. Banish Prognosticate. Awesome. Not really. I actually enjoy getting this flare out of my hand, but there's not really a good way to do it. Without, like, cashing in the energy potion to Kano or something. I bet they just take this. Yeah. Alright, so we'll just pass from this point. And get somewhat unlucky in that this is not a blue. But I'm so intrigued by the potential of, like, flare, chain lightning. I don't think we can make it work. We'd have to like Striders this out and then do a bunch of stuff in response to it. Okay, they have Iron Sonic Determination again, which isn't stellar. So we're probably gonna have to go for that. Ooh, so they pitched a red to attack. That's a very good sign. So this is going to be 4 dominate. But if we block 3, we essentially get got by, you know, like Iron Song response or something. So I think we need to... Let's think about things. So we can do a bunch of stuff in response to Chain Lightning, and then since, you know, this cares about resolution, it would still do its things and let us play the Blazing Aether. So we'd have to, like, Striders. So do Striders. So we want to Ragamuffin Chain Lightning to, or Ragamuffin Aether Flare to the top of the deck and soup it up at least a little bit. So if we Striders, pitch this. So we'll Striders. Don't spend any resource on. Problem is, like, we're never going to get to hold on to both of these. We'd have to, like, outside of a Potion of Deja Vu line, there's nothing that is going to do this, right? So, like, play this. We're going to have to pitch the Blazing, but I don't think we can win without it. Right, let's not do the Striders. Let's just Kano. Into Boom. How does that change things? It's expensive. Just sort of unfortunate. So do we, like, Flare, Boom, or Flare via Striders, Boom? Ragamuffin Blazing? Like, is that a thing we can do? Maybe? Let's try... Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get Chain Lightning out of Arsenal. This totally fails if we have a potion on top of our deck, but we gotta go for it, right? Okay, so let's Striders. Get rid of Lesson. Let that resolve. We want to Crucible. So we essentially... We need this for the Boom. So I don't think we can afford to Metacarpus. If their last card is a blue, this doesn't do anything fun. But if it's a red, then maybe we get to have fun. It is a red. Okay. So, do we... So, we dealt 3. This will then deal 6. And then Blazing is for 9. Yeah, so at this point we rags. Ooh, okay. So put the Blazing to top. Then we Boom for 7. Which will just roll us into Blazing Ether. Okay, so that was really interesting. I honestly didn't think we'd be able to do it with the overall lack of resources that we have, but there is a 20 damage combo. Yeah, I mean, more Kano activations need to banish Sonic Boom. I always say that, but yeah. Alright, interesting stuff. We will good game them. They were somewhat patient with me. Alright, we're back for Kano's last hurrah in Blitz against Dash Database, which this is, in my opinion, a horrid matchup in CC. So they put themselves first. Begs the question, or, I don't mean good game, sorry. Too many messages and everything's lagging. Oh man, okay. So, I don't know, does Warmongers, I mean, I guess it stops them from playing an item. Do we bring in Frontline Gauntlets? We're gonna do it. Might not be the right choice, but who knows. Alright, so we get the old turn 1 Blazing Aether. Adaptive Plating, which doesn't really do anything against us. This would be better as like a live gauntlet, honestly. Glad this is finally coded into Talishar, if only so my wife can play Data Doll. Oh no! They're just passing priority to ruin... They're passing priority to ruin my Frontline Gauntlets. How dare they? Oh, need to reduce the gain on my mic. Whoops. finished by this before, but let's take one peek. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. We're not going to do anything else. We're not going to tempt fate. So now they play a grenade. Cranking. Okay, so this makes Frontline Gauntlet look a little silly. But it does mean that we can... Oh, I don't want to block with this, but it's such a... not a good card to have early. I will block with this. Then block with Frontline Gauntlets, which will then be 5 and 5. I think my internet is being slow. Come on, buddy. Please block with the gauntlets. How do I press undo? No, the whole thing's lagging. Come on. So the undo worked, but nothing else did. So we want this to happen. We're going to block and block to cover up 5. There we go. Okay, so they're going to Symbiosis Shot. They have no go again. We'll just snap block with Aether Quickening. Now they break Accelerator. Oh, if they throttle us or something, I'm going to be really sad. Oh no, so we are going to end up taking grenade damage. Yeah, so we'll take 4 total. Well, we either take 4 from this or take 4 from the grenade. If we don't block, we get the Kano again. So let's just do this now. Spindle, I mean... Do we crack the energy potion to play this? Like... It's essentially 3 damage and we get to opt, so I think we do, although it is greedy. Oh, and actually, yeah, now they're down their AB1, so they'd be forced to block in instances of 2. Which is actually a big game if we banish any, like, 0 for 1s. Okay, we don't want this at the moment. I mean, keeping just blues and Aether Spindle is fine. Okay, so our hand will be Aether Spindle, 2 blues, Aether Spindle, and 3 blues. Great. So now we will just send in a big ol' Spindle for 5. I need to restart my PC. Send in a big ol' Spindle for 5, and then hopefully we can get a free roll off the top of the deck. Oh, sick. Okay, so we can use one of these to get the energy potion, and then sort of, get that back after last turn. And then, I mean, I guess we could shoot off the Prognosticate, because it's probably going to just deal 1 damage, and a damage is a damage. So let's keep... Do we keep Scalding Rain? No, bottom Scalding Rain. Top these guys, and then we'll just fire both of them. So we sort of get our setup back. And again, the fact that they're down their source of Arcane 1 might be significant. We don't have an Arsenal, which is somewhat unfortunate. Okay, so we get rid of Emeritus. Problem is, I would love for one of these other cards to be a blue. Alright, so instant speed red boom grenade would be bad. So like we could just try to value block through this turn and then well, we're gonna pass either way. Because like we could block with Flare, then do big Sonic Boom on our turn, Arsenal Emeritus, and then basically have this in the bag. But I'm expecting they have something. Okay, so they boost Panel Beater. Alright. So this is for 5. So we can block 3, take 2. And again, as long as they don't have instant boom grenade, it's fine. Because we could Striders, play this for 6. They take 4. Or they take 5. Yeah. Okay. No instant boom grenade. Okay, good. This is the best we could hope for. We just Crucible our best friend Sonic Boom, dealing probably at least 2 damage, and we'll see what we find. It is the other Emeritus Scolding. Better lucky than good, I guess. So this is a free 4 damage, A+. We have the other one to put in Arsenal. They just take all of it because they don't want to give us another card. That's the advantage of them being down their AB1. So then we pass. Okay, so they use that resource on a boom grenade at instant speed. That's fine. That doesn't really do anything to us. Okay, everything is lagging again. We have nothing else to do. Put this in Arsenal. Draw 3 yellows and a red, which is super sus. That is, we have 6 yellows in the deck, and here are 3 of them. So you can send Emeritus for 7. I mean, that's pretty good. Outside of Oasis, and even then, yeah, there's nothing they can do here. Yeah, things are like super sticky. It's weird. Okay, so now we Emeritus. This is Emeritus for 7. I cannot get out of this. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of lag on my end. I was doing some work before this, and even just browsing on the internet was lagging. But anyways, that was a fun game and makes me feel better, makes me feel better about losing a bunch to Dash.io and CC, although that is a whole different ball game, as it were. Anyways, on to the next. So here we are against Azalea, and we're definitely picking to go first, because we just don't want, them to do any dominate shenanigans. We are going to make the somewhat awkward decision to bring in 1 Nourishing Emptiness, because that can help in the case of Codex of Frailties. No, don't take out a blue. And we'll be responsible to take out a flare. Alright. How many Lace with Inertias do they have in their deck? Is that, surprisingly, decides a lot of games in this matchup. Is, do they get off a Lace with Inertia? Alright, so they have Arcane 2, which makes the Sonic Boom even juicier. Turn off the Metacarpus for now. So this is a Perch Grappler build. We saw Perch Grappler's Lexi earlier today. So here's Sonic Boom for 4. Keeps asking them to choose an instant. What do they have that's an instant that they could actually do? I'm worried that they have an Oasis in hand. Possibly. Sonic Boom into Sonic Boom! Our dreams come true! Yes! Oh, it might be Kano's last hurrah, but what a glorious last hurrah it is. The Sonic Boom Cascade. I actually don't know the last time this happened. Oh, and then just into Zap. Like, a boom into Aether Spindle would be the upside. So now we can Kano again. Our options are pretty limited. Blue Emeritus Scolding. We can't actually play that, so I'm gonna say no. It's also, I mean, we'll fire this off, but it doesn't do anything because they have a resource floating. But that was a free roll off the Sonic Boom. So, I mean, wasn't the most exciting Sonic Boom Cascade in the world, but it's always funny to see it happen. I wonder if there's a build where we could, like, play Cindering Foresight to try to stack Sonic Booms. Maybe like a really hardcore second cycle pitch stack deck. Oh, okay. So nothing we did matters. Hooray! Sigil of Solace. We burned through both our Sonic Booms, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. And all the Emeritus Scoldings are clumping up. So Death Dealer. Pitching Rain Razors, glad we don't have to deal with that. Okay, Sleep Dart is very scary for us. I don't like that. So they Ravenous Rabble, they have the Lace of Inertia on top. We're not going to do anything with the Ravenous Rabble because we just want to block the Sleep Dart. Things are being a little laggy again. That's just on my end. So they're going to Azalea. So they wanted the Lace with Inertia badly enough to lose an arrow? I guess that's what that means. Okay, so they're going to break their bullseye, which, I mean, that's great for us. So now they're at AB1. We might actually try to, like, do a premature Strider's Emeritus top deck Blazing thing just to chunk in a huge amount of damage before we lose our Emeritus. Well, so this will be for 8. So the responsible thing is to just block 9, but like this is also the ideal combo hand. Because we have, so what, we could make this deal 8, and then Blazing for 16. Well, we need to find, like, another spell with Kano. I mean, why not, right? Like, so we can let this hit before we do anything. We probably, the actual correct play would have been to, activate Kano in response. So we're going to activate Kano now. Gaze the Ages, that's a little bit of a free roll. So let's now... I mean, we're not going to be able to make them... So we'll let them opt. They've already Azalea'd, so there's not really anything they can do with that. Like, they can fire this Bolt and Shot, but we can... if this were a 1 cost, that would be so good. Okay, so now they just pass. So now it is our time. Question. Do we Metacarpus? I think we do. Well, actually, we can play this and then gaze before Metacarpus resolves. or before we have to. Oh, come on. It's lacking again. So turn that on. So fire this. Gaze, which we have played a wizard card, so now Gaze will come back to hand when it resolves. Okay, Prognosticate and Flare. So we can put the Flare on top and then Kano into it and then Rags to do Blazing, so we know we get the Prognosticate. And that way we'll, that'll staple some extra damage onto Blazing. So we will top and top. These are both fine. Come on. You can do it. You can do this. So do we Metacarpus? Or do we just Metacarpus the Flare? So we need 3, 6... I mean, we can Metacarpus because we know we're getting the blue off Ragamuffins. So, say yes. So now here we are for 8 Arcane. So then we need to get the Aether Flare. We need to Ragamuffin about the Ragamuffin. Okay, so we have everything we need. So we can do Flare with Metacarpus. Which will put him to 11. Then we do this because we've dealt 9. It's actually 11. Okay, so there we go. 20 damage combo. They had 20, and now they have 0. Oh, that just warms my heart. Kano, I'm gonna miss you. Well, I mean, we'll just have to do a lot more CC content after this, or after the Blitz LL, but for what time we have, we're gonna see how many of these we can pull off. That was excellent. On to the next. So here we are against Benji. We had the choice, so we put ourselves first, because they'll just cheese in a whole bunch of damage if they get to go first. I'm tempted to bring in a Swell Tidings just to like help race, but also let's just, or the Flare's better because we're trying to just go super fast. The Flares might be better. Swell Tidings is a better card to draw. Aether Flare is a better card to hit with Kano. Yeah, so excuse me, we'll just do our typical setup. Alright, so we have AB3, Edge of Autumn. Typically see Daggers, so that's interesting. And then Blossom of Spring. Curious. But, I mean, we have a BFF Sonic Boom. Very nice. Already. Banish Aether Quickening. That's pretty good. Free 4 damage. Or, well, free 1 damage, actually. Unfortunately, we're going to have this... Well, Mind Warp isn't an awful card to have stuck in hand. We will put Blazing in Arsenal, however. But hey, now it's a tie game to start. We dealt 2 whole damage. Yeah, put the Blazing in Arsenal. And, okay. The other Mind Warp and other Blazing Aether have joined the party. This isn't great. Curious to see what they're doing with Edge of Autumn and Blossom of Spring. This could be like a budget brew or just like a super aggro low to the ground deck. Rapid Reflex. That's also an interesting one. So we can actually block this, but I don't think we care. It's like get your blocks in now when you can, everyone. Silver Wind Shuriken, nice. That's fun. It doesn't have go again though. So we're gonna Kano here and see what we get. Prognosticate is pretty not stellar here. So I think we'll... I mean, it's like, what are we gonna do on our turn? Like, we're not gonna banish this. Like, on our turn, we'll just Mind Warp into, like... I'm actually gonna pitch away this Blazing Aether. I love the Silver Wind Shuriken. Do you want to play 3 copies of Breaking Scales? Alright, so now I get to Mind Warp for 3, which I'm definitely gonna block, so... Still never gonna see Mind Warp do anything. I keep hoping and hoping. Alas, it is not to be. Oh, so they did give us 2 yellows. I mean, if our goal is to strip cards, in the absence of dealing damage, at least we can strip cards. Okay, so now we have Aether Flare, Lesson in Lava. That's pretty solid. So let's see if they do anything that makes us think about blocking, because if not, we'll just try to lesson, find the other lesson, and start that chain, I guess. I've had Benji games where it's just like, yeah, I lose 8 life on the first turn, and then it just fighting and clawing the whole time. We're just going to take the Edge of Autumn damage. It's in the absence of Mask of Momentum, we don't really care about it. What in the world are they up to? Yeah, I just don't know. Alright, so here we'll use this Mind Warp to play out our lesson. Then, like... I don't know, we might want to, like, grab the second Aether Quickening. Just to try to push some damage. Yeah, not worth grabbing Chain Lightning, unfortunately, although that, like, that could be very fun. Yeah, this is very strange. Like, we're seeing, like, the Rapid Reflexes, the Silver Wind Shurikens, do they just have... Is this, like... Is this Fatigue Benji? Like, is that a deck? If it is, I've never seen it. We're not going to get the second lesson, because then they could just block it all. I think we do get the Quickening, and then just play it out. I mean, the more time they give us to chip in damage like this, the better. Why wouldn't we want to chip in damage? Okay, they just give us another blue. This really is Fatigue Benji. Okay, so we find another Sonic Boom and our Energy Potion. I've never seen a naked Spring Tidings like as like your lead-off attack. I mean, we can't block it. Have your none cards. It does have go again. Spring Tidings say attack or each other, yeah, attack action card. Okay, who cares about cost? Okay, so here comes Edge of Autumn for 2, which now, I don't know, I'm tempted to actually just block this. Save some life. Oh, fuck. Undo. Pass through our whole turn. Keep my thumb off the spacebar. I just want to pass your turn. There we go. Keep the Energy Potion. Alright, Sonic Boom for 4. Ooh, they give us a red and a yellow. So we still only deal 1 damage, but we get to chip in with this Scalding Rain for free. I mean, let's also just Kano here. Aether Dart, hooray. We must target. So we'll just fire off 3 arcane here. Looks like we're going to get another card out of them. Ooh, yeah, they give us another yellow. Nice. Yeah, with the flick... Oh, they just gave us their whole hand. This... I didn't think Fatigue Benji was, like, a deck, but apparently so. Depending on what we draw, we could just, like, steamroll them with the assistance of this Blazing Aether. Like, if we draw Red Emeritus, we can do a Ragamuffin's trick. Okay, now we get the other Blazing Aether and Aether Spindle. Now here, like, we could play Blazing from Arsenal, and then... 3 blues would make this feel a lot better. So... I don't know, playing the Blazing from Arsenal before we know what we have isn't really necessary. So let's Kano. If we find the Red Emeritus here, then it's over. Where we find Potion of Deja Vu. Which we'll just play that out. You can also do some tricks with that. So that... Yeah, we're just gonna pass now. This is a bizarre game. I've never seen such a blue-heavy Benji deck that's just like, you know, chipping in a little bit every turn. Very strange. This is also the second time we've seen this since we shuffled off that Lesson in Lava, which is a little silly. Right then. So let's Crucible. We want this out of hand. And Spindle for 5. We are looking for Red Emeritus. Instead we find 2 blues. Do we bottom both? Like, one... Okay, so there's only 3 blues out of our deck. So we're gonna bottom both of these. We're gonna pass. Wait for the system to catch up. Ooh. The temptation to do Chain Lightning Shenanigans is very strong. Also, I feel like we keep, like... Maybe I've just played too many games today, but it's like... Is this like the 3rd Aether Spindle we've seen? No, because we're only playing 2 reds, but I just feel like I've spindled a whole bunch for some reason. Okay, so here comes the Twin Twisters. For 4. So we could actually block this. So what can we do with this Chain Lightning? Like, we could Striders, we could use Striders to play... We could also do Deja Vu Shenanigans with Aether Wind and Chain Lightning, which is just delicious. So we could Tome... Draw 2. We're gonna pass. We can probably just blow them out with something, with like a Deja Vu Chain Lightning Shenanigan thing. Okay, so this will come in for 5. They could make it 6, which does not kill us. But it is 6. Oh, is it 6 from Benji's ability? Yeah. So, I mean, they could have cracked the Shuriken just to force lethal. Suppose that was a misplay on their part? Maybe they just didn't see the line. Regardless, we're going to try some Deja Vu Shenanigans. Okay. So they have nothing. Absolutely nothing. So let's... We'd like to activate Kano with this and this. We'll put another one on the stack. And we will Deja Vu. We want to... Okay, we want both... We want the Kanos to banish Tome and Chain Lightning, so we will top this so we draw it with a Tome. stick these two on top of that. So let these resolve. Sort of like the Dream Team, Tome of Aetherwind plus Chain Lightning. So now we play the Tome. We'll draw Gaze the Ages and one other. So it's another blue. Actually, cancel. So I think we just now, we can Spindle, Chain Lightning, play out Blazing Aether. That's shoe in. Because I got nothing. Nada. Then we'll just Metacarpus just to highest damage potential. Great, so here's a 6 damage Aether Spindle. And problem is when you do this with Aether Spindle, you just have to deal with everything. We don't care about any of it though. So then we Chain Lightning. I'm going to strategically not Metacarpus, just so we can play the Blazing. There we go. It's another 20 damage turn. Nice. Where was this before Kano Living Legend hit Living Legend? Like, come on. Could have been doing this the whole time? Man. Okay. Well, it does make you appreciate the good times while you're having them, doesn't it? It's a microcosm of the experience of life itself, isn't it? Life is beautiful because it changes and all that, but wouldn't you rather just deal 20 damage with Blazing Aether forever? So, what did we learn today in our last Blitz adventure with Kano? And we learned that he still got it. There's a reason he got all those Living Legend points, isn't there? I think my favorite moments from today were when we had the Sonic Boom into Sonic Boom on our first turn against Azalea, but then they had Sigil of Solace, so it ended up not mattering. But then we just 20'd them anyways, and it was great. So showing that Kano really can get the one-turn kill if given the right setup. And also we saw the downside of Sonic Boom against Kayo, where at a critical moment, trying to save ourselves from a lethal attack, we hit a Sonic Boom into Potion of Deja Vu, which of course doesn't do anything. So we saw the ups and downs, and I know this was a long video. There's a lot of games to get through, so thank you to anyone who stuck it out till the very end. But I think it's a fitting send-off for Kano to get so many excellent games in this last time in Blitz. So we're not done with Kano, of course. I love Kano in Commoner and in Classic Constructed. You should check out those videos if you haven't, but we'll be adding to those as well with more Kano gameplay in other formats. And we're not done with Blitz by any means. There's plenty of fun decks to explore. I might also get into the only wizard left in Blitz currently, the Emperor, which I have most of that deck in paper, and it's a little silly, but also just tremendously fun. So anyways, I'd love to hear from you all in the comments. What do you think the next wizard for Flesh and Blood will look like? I was talking with a friend at an armory about this, and neither of us can really decide on anything just because, like, how Kano plays with all the instant shenanigans, Stormstrider's big Blazing Aether combos is just, like, so iconic for the wizard class in Flesh and Blood. So I would love to hear your predictions, hypotheses, etc. about what a future wizard could look like. Also, if you enjoyed this last jaunt in the Blitz format, give the video a like. We'd love to hear positive feedback, negative feedback, largely ambivalent feedback, anything you have. So I am, of course, the Archivist, and thanks for being on this journey with us. We will see you for your next research appointment.